Kenyans using public service vehicles will start digging deeper into their pockets.
Rising costs, especially for basic commodities such as food. A section of Nairobi residents who have spoken to KTN News.
Celine Onyango says she's struggling to feed her family. She sells fish, and with the cost of living rising in Kenya, she's noticed a drop.
Inflation is biting hard in the country. So what's the relation between economic growth and inflation in Kenya?
There has been increase in prices of products and commodities, and this has led to a reduction in profit margins, and it has led also in the low marginal propensity of consumers. Most of the wheat products have increased in price, which we used to sell like a biscuit in a bit large quantities, but of late the consumers are now turned away because of the high prices. This has also made it difficult for us in business. It's quite difficult to operate when the profit margins are low. And the consumers are also not happy about the prices, but there is no way we can help them because we are also held up.
Kenya's economy has been rising over the years, and it took a bigger hit when the pandemic came. With time, however, it made a recovery when the key drivers of the economy, such as the transport industry, hotel industry, and education, became fully operational in 2021.
What, in your view, is really behind the high cost of living?
The whole thing of Russia. Russia is a major exporter of oil. They export about 4.5 million barrels a day.
This year, the cost of living has soared high, and this hit to the economy is mainly being attributed to the war in Ukraine, among other factors. For perspective, a packet of 2 kilograms of maize flour, which was retailing between 90 shillings and 130 shillings, is currently retailing at 200 shillings, and prices of other commodities like cooking oil even doubling.
My main customers are students, postgraduates, also some families. Initially, we would buy these items at a very favorable prices. Ungepata tukibuy crate ya nyanya, hata tukiuza, it's very favorable to the customers. But within 2 weeks, unapata imehype na 4,000. What we do, because we need to maximize on profit, we will reduce the amount we sell to customers. Customers will be complaining. Customers wenye walikuwa nanunua vitu kama za 200 hata go, saizi washa reduce, wananunua vitu za kama 50 bob, because the quantity imepunguka.
This is slowly becoming a crisis, as many Kenyans are struggling to purchase basic commodities to satisfy their basic needs. Today, we take a look at how the ordinary citizen has been affected, specifically the university students. We dive into the lives of 3 students from Multimedia University of Kenya who have different livelihoods. One lives in school hostel, another resides outside school in a rental house, and the other commutes all the way to Rongai for school.
I stay in the hostels. First of all, being in the hostel is easy to reach the classes in time, and again, I don't have to spend a lot. My main source of income is that I'm provided money by my parents back at home.
I commute to school every day. I live in Westlands, and I chose to be commuting from Westlands to school because I have activities back in Westlands that require my attention most of the time.
I remember I used to stay in the hostels, but now I stay outside school in a rental by myself. Reason why I moved from the hostels to staying by myself is because first, the hostels, I don't feel like it has a lot of privacy. I love it to be in a certain way, you know. So for me, if I wasn't pursuing journalism, I would have pursued interior design. So there's a way I love having my things around where I stay.
The amount of money I'm receiving right now is just the same as I was given before the cost of living is rise up.
I am a rider. I use my motorbike, and actually with the current economy, a liter of fuel being close to 160, it sounds insane, but I have to do it. So on average, I use around 300 shillings just for fuel purposes. I don't eat in school, so to save on expenses, I prefer eating at home.
In a single day, I can spend from 100 to 200 shillings because at the start of the month, I make sure I've done my shopping. I buy flour, I buy rice, I buy a tray of eggs. So the only thing that I need to buy maybe is the groceries, maybe if I've not done groceries in bulk. And I have not done groceries in bulk because I don't have a refrigerator so that food doesn't spoil. So you find that I'll buy tomatoes and onions and dhania to make my stew, and maybe meat or beans to eat with rice. So I can spend from roughly 100 shillings to 200 shillings after doing my monthly shopping, which maybe could total to 2,000 to 2,500 shillings at the start of the month.
The amount of money given right now compared to the past is not sufficient to the things that I'm receiving right now. I had to lower about my budget, like the things I used to use, I have to limit them, use them at limited quantities. Like for example, before I used to have some money and spend some for going out for parties, but right now I cannot go for parties and I have to struggle to get to survive in school.
With the current inflation, expenses have changed. Actually, a few weeks ago, I used to spend an average of 200 Kenya shillings, but now it's moved to 300 on average, and that has also forced me to rethink my journeys, especially using a motorbike. Some of the journeys I used to cover previously on a motorbike, I'm now cycling, I walk. Personally, I feel that it's a plus, it's an opportunity to also exercise, but forced by the circumstances. If the inflation goes on for a while, I may be permanently forced to probably resort to public transport, which again will change the whole dynamics in terms of time management and all that.
Your mother is giving you pocket money. The same way she was giving you, she doesn't mind about the inflation and everything. So it's upon you to be able to budget that money, you see. So with the recent inflation, you find that if I was eating maybe meat 4 times a week or 3 times a week, now I'll have to take it once a week. So kuna ile unajinyima. Sometimes I feel bad because I'm like, why can't I afford this? This inflation is really affecting and my budget, it's really straining my budget. So you find that I'm like, I just hope that after school I can get a job so that I can be able to afford these things that I can't afford because currently I'm depending on my parents.
My advice on the government is a standardized way of buying products. Hatutaki wiki tunabuy vitu at a certain price and within a week vitu zimehype to another price. We need a regulation, a regulation of these farm items, the milk and even the beddings.
With high inflation being witnessed all over the country, students of Multimedia University have had to find other solutions to cater for their needs. Having had low income levels and some no jobs at all, alternatives are being found so that they can be able to save more and spend less. With alternatives such as going to the posho mill for maize flour and reducing the cost of boda-bodas by walking, students have used such means so that they can be able to save. Reporting from Multimedia University, I am Christine Rwamba.